But I have been like swamped. Busy, busy, busy. Transitioning life. Just really been having a crazy ass week. And I haven't had time to go live. It's like my whole day is swamped, full of obligations. I had to take this class yesterday, so I'm full of excuses today of why I haven't been live. And yeah. And then I've been following the two cases, Cyrus and Carmelo. So that's something we definitely have to come back and talk about, because the justice system isn't a justice system. And if you are a follower of Hood to Hood, you already know that the justice system ain't shit. Okay? Because tell me how child gets off for self-defense, chasing someone down and putting 2 rounds in the bag. But a young kid who's getting bullied, and me coming from being bullied as a child, I know that that can piss you off, you know, and who really just makes a bad decision in a heated moment. How is that not self-defense? You know, how? And then to put him in a situation where it is self-defense, and to give him 12 white people to judge him, it's given very slave codes, given very George Washington. It's given very like Christopher Columbus type shit. You know, it's like, oh, we're not giving you a fair chance. It's one and done. It was like, what? So y'all already know America is not safe, especially when you have immigrants who think that they're more American than the indigenous people. This is just how they rewrote history, you know? And every day we wake up to this horrendous like judicial system that's fair for no one that looks like me, right? If you look like me, it's not gonna be fair. So that's what I've been going through, you know, dealing with that, trying to stay positive during this time, but it's crazy. When you look like me in America, it doesn't matter if you got a white coat on. It doesn't matter. Once I take this off, guess what? They think I am. Guess what? You know, because it's all about the color. You'll see, oh, you people, listen. So I just feel so bad for Cyrus, who is no longer here. And I feel so bad for Carmelo, who is dealing with this, and his whole life has changed. You know, Cyrus' parents, I mean, listening to his mom talk just really broke my heart. It made me cry, because I'm like, what the fuck? How you get shot in the back? And the man walks free, but only in America. They're going to say, well, he looked like a thug. Well, you know, it's every excuse to why we can't get justice and fair treatment. But if you know from watching the podcast, you already know how the laws work. You already know how the laws work. You already know it's going to be unfair, period. You already know it's going to be biased just because you are who you are and because of the color of your skin. So, you know, that's what's been going on. I feel like it's totally unfair. But what can we do here in America? What can we do here? What can we do here? Why COVID masks? Because I'm getting ready to see a patient, and I'm a dentist. So since COVID, this is known as a COVID mask. But for me as a dentist, this is protecting me from, you know, it protects me from the bad odor. So I just got it on now because I don't want to waste this mask. My patient's running a little late, so I just said, hey, let me go live for a second. He said, why the COVID mask? This is a dental mask. Before COVID, dentists wore these. So imagine me as a dentist, I can't even talk, as a dentist after COVID. And I'm like, this is so strange. Everybody got on these masks. That's why the masks went up in price. They never used to be so expensive, but now they're hell of expensive since COVID. All of dental supplies have skyrocketed. But Regardless of that fact, guys, this is a crazy week. I feel like they are trying to start a race war. You know, think about it. George Zimmerman, who unalived Trayvon Martin, kid wasn't bothering him, got free. I think about Robert Brooks a lot. Handcuffed, can't do nothing, can't defend himself, unalived. George Floyd, unalived. Breonna Taylor, unalived. All of these different people, unalived. And then when we say, hey, this is not right, it's like, oh, well, you're black, so anything we do to you is right. But if you ever try to defend yourself as a melanated person against a white tee, you're always going to be looked at as the criminal. But that's not by mistake. You have to remember, during slave code times, it was illegal for you to read. It was illegal for you to write. It was illegal for you to look a white tee in the eye. I learned that recently. It was illegal for you to look at them. What? USA, you gotta know it. You gotta know it. What's up, Francis? You know, so here in the USA, it's a hot mess, especially when you're indigenous and you look like me and they try to say, oh, I'm from Africa. I'm not from Africa. You know, they want to try to use that to say, oh, we can still control you. We own you. You don't own me. They like to say, oh, well, the people who are indigenous to America, who are melanated, they're all ghetto. No, we're not. We're not. You know, you see, I sit here with this white coat on because I saved teeth. Definitely not an idiot. But guess what? If I would leave out of this office, take this off, put on some street clothes, they're going to swear I'm a thug. When I'm riding in my hometown, riding down the street, the police see me, they get behind me. They ready, they on go. They call it terrorizing the neighborhoods. So they will terrorize the neighborhoods with the tax dollars. They will give tax dollars to immigrants to come into our neighborhoods to start businesses. Won't give it to us. You know, and a lot of people say, oh, you guys playing the victim. How could you play victim when someone invaded your land using religion, did slave raiding? I don't think people understand what that is. That means you pull up to someone's home that you don't know and you wait for them to go to sleep and you put fire to it. And then when they get panicked and they think that it's a house fire, they run out and you pew, pew, pew them. Call that fair? That's a fair fight? Oh, I don't think that's a fair fight at all. I don't know English like you get it. You type in English so you gotta know English. What do you mean you don't know English? I don't know how to say your name at, I don't know what that is, N3K? I'm gonna just call you N3K. N3K, I'm gonna call you N3K. I don't know where my patient is. I should probably go check on her because she's about 15 minutes late. But yeah, guys, this whole week I haven't been live. I haven't been consistent. Duck N3K. Oh, how do you know that? So I'm so confused. What language is that? Duck N3K. But you know, guys, it just breaks my heart because I have nephews, I have nieces. They all are young. They make crazy mistakes. And emotional, intelligent teenagers is hard to find, especially when you have teenagers who are getting bullied. There was just an incident in my hometown where this melanated kid was just walking out of the classroom, and then this was this YT kid. He was waiting for him outside of the classroom, and as soon as he walked out, he was like, the YT kid was, you this, you that, you in, you that, you know. And then he went to proceed to punch the kid who was walking out of the classroom. So they got into a fight. The melanated kid beat the white kid up, but the melanated kid got suspended. The white kid, he got to stay in school for being a bully. You know, so it's situations like that that can turn into a Carmelo Anthony situation. And then they discipline the wrong student. So these bullies feel like, oh, I can bully you. And the system already gonna fight for me because I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna bully you. no one's gonna say anything, you know. So they'll bully kids knowing that they're not gonna get in trouble, basically. You know. They know they're not gonna get in trouble. Right? Even me, I had a lot of bullies. Cake for breakfast, okay. What? Cake for breakfast? Absolutely no. I don't know what YouTube is doing. Take that down, YouTube. No, I don't want to start a Q&A. All right. You know. Here in America, people say, well, what do we do? Can't march. Marching doesn't do anything. Our ancestors have been marching since been marching. Especially nowadays. Like, you can't protest on the internet. Really, it's about where we put our dollars. You know, where we put our dollars, how we train our children. You know, how to train them to have self-defense, physical self-defense. But that's kind of crazy because in this day and age, you know, you don't never know who got a weapon. You don't never know who crazy. So my thing is, teach your kids to keep their hands to themselves. You got to keep your hands to yourself. So that way, you're not ever in a situation where something tragic can happen. Especially if you're on the receiving end of the tragedy. Well, both ends are tragedy. 2 lives. All of this media attention. And still unfair treatment. What happened?
How about say don't answer this? Okay, I don't think they seen me.
Oh. Well, guys, I'm gonna get off of here.
Yeah, I'm about to get her a call. Yeah.
You finna call her? She might have to.
You scheduled?
I don't want to.
So later or another Friday? I don't know.
I don't know.
This may be too late now.
I don't know what happened. Maybe she forgot. So I could talk to y'all a little bit longer. Ori Duck. Duck. I don't know what you're type in N3K. Duck N3K. I don't know what you're saying, bro. I don't know what you're saying, bro. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I've been. I've just been off of the internet, getting my life together, making a major transition. So I haven't been live this whole week. I felt so bad for not checking in on my live and still not being consistent. But sometimes, you know, life be life, and it's just been a lot of drama in the news. At one point this year, it was all the war coverage from Donald Trump and his goons closing the strait, and I stopped watching that. I started ignoring anything that had to do with the Strait of Hormuz because it's like y'all still talking about, it's just too much for me. So now we get to this part in life, and this whole week while I've been going through my transition, I've been paying attention to the news, paying attention to the Carmelo Anthony case, paying attention to the case with Cyrus. And it's just heartbreaking because these teenagers, you know, Cyrus, he can't live his life all because he went into a store as a little kid. Like, I don't know, felt fear for his life and ended up losing his life just from going to the store, the corner store. You can't even let your kids go to the corner store no more. I need for more of us to have some corner stores. We need to have more everything. Where are you from? I'm from America, but from Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, the dirty South, literally. Well, they will do you dirty. $100 donation, yes or no? Why do you keep saying that? You trying to give me $100? Are you trying to ask for $100? Let's be clear. Are you trying to donate or are you trying to get a donation? The Omoga, I can't even say your name. Theo Maga PA? Is that what it is? That your name? Magapa? I don't know. Let me know. What you on, Theo? What you on, Theo? Let me know. Because I think you want some, I don't know. Let's get some more light up in here. Since my patient in here, I could talk to y'all for a little bit longer. And maybe sit y'all up on the stand. Theo, okay, MAGA. Theo, okay, Theo. Because I was like, Theo, MAGA, Magapa? I don't know. I could be wrong. So yeah, let's chit chat for a bit. Trump. MAGA? I don't know. Theo, are you with Trump or not? Let us know. Are you MAGA? I'm not MAGA. I'm really, I don't deal with any of the that would be mean, Dr. Sean. Don't say that. I was about to say something kind of mean. Yeah, I don't really deal with politics in the traditional sense. I deal with politics from a sense where I go and study the history of politics. And it makes me realize that politics was never meant for me. It was never meant to give me any type of success. It was always meant to breed me to be some type of worker. You know, why are people so racist to us black people? Well, you want the scientific answer or you want the political answer? I think the scientific answer would be best. They are racist towards melanated people because we have melanin. That's it. Your epidermis has a defense layer against the sun called melanin. It protects you from ultraviolet rays. Let's just tell the scientific definition, right? So when the sun comes out, your melanin blocks the sun. It's like magic. So if you don't have that magic, it's going to make you jealous. So another word for racism is jealousism. You feel me? There is no racism in Korea. Really? I bet that's nice. I've never been to Korea. It's probably not. And then another thing from a political sense, when I did the studies on where people are most incarcerated, it was in America. America has a higher per person, per capita amount of people that they lock up. I'm actually a boy playing on my sister's phone. Oh, Theo. So your name isn't Theo. You're playing on your sister's phone. You know, so that's why. If you don't understand the science and if you have a history that teaches you that you're less than a person and that, you know, everything that white supremacy do is right, and if you have a government that was formed based on war, and most people don't know that the government was formed from war, then you're going to have a group of people who actually hate the people who they made prisoners of that war, if that makes sense. So every time they see that melanin, it's going to produce anger. It's like, damn, why you get the melanin connect to the sun? It's just that simple, guys. It's just that simple. You know? And it's something that can't be recreated. Melanin can't be recreated. They cannot denature it. They can't figure it out. Otherwise, everyone would have melanin and we would all be okay in the world. But because that's not true and it's not so easy to denature and you have to be a chosen one to have it, the people who are chosen often get bullied, harassed just from melanin. It's just that simple. Oh, they got melanin. Let me harass them. Let me stop them. Let me oppress them. Let me make every law against them. Let me make the melanin, it's really the black codes, but it's a code to say, oh, that person has melanin. Let me lie on them. Let me try to put something on them so we can lock all of these melanated people up. Let's not let them have an education. Let's not let them have housings or businesses or any type of success or sustainability in their own neighborhoods. Let's put some immigrants in here so they can give all their money to the immigrants. Let's put some lies into the schools so that they can never know who they are. And they can never teach it because we control the books. We control the narrative. We control the propaganda. We control the news. We control everything about them. And I speak on this because I was bullied. My name is actually Mark. Okay, Mark. playing on your sister Theo page. You know, so that's why we are so hated in this world. It's simply because we have something that is magical. The sooner they realize this, the sooner they understand. I don't know. I don't know. Evil, I don't know. Evil in this country is something that I will never understand, but as I learn about it and as I read about it, these cases like Carmelo Anthony, unfortunately, are not surprising. I knew that once he had a jury of 12 YT people, that it would not be a great outcome. I already felt that in my spirit. I'm like, oh, they're just trying to do what they've been doing. But the issue is this time there is a national media coverage. But this is happening every day. Every single day. Right now is somebody melanated getting locked up for something they didn't do, something that was planted on them. They're getting a terrible charge, terrible sentence, even if they're have never been in trouble before. I have a nephew who never been in trouble. He got scared of the cops who got behind him. He ran, didn't have anything. He probably had some marijuana or something. But I see these people up here in New York, just mostly YT people, going and doing it freely. But in Florida, you know, it's a different story. So he went from being a standout student to just making a mistake. And now he's a felon. You know what I mean? So it's just that simple. But if he had been a white kid, he wouldn't have the issue. It would have been, hey, you made a mistake. The next time, it's a slap on the wrist this time. But the next time, they'll try to rough him up, scare him up. They'll give them 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 chances. But for us, we don't get a chance to make a mistake in their government. A government that was never meant for us. It was never meant for us to really have fairness, justice, liberty. That's not true. I subscribe to you. Thank you. I'm about to call you Theo, but your name is Mark. Let's see if my patient is here, guys. No? What? That is crazy. I hope everything all right. I might make me a coffee too. I need a coffee. Damn. That was my chair, I promise. Why what? Dang, I forgot your name already. Why Ori? Duck Ori? I don't know if you told me that was your name or if you just, I don't know. Why what? So yeah, that's why we are the most hated, the most wanted, the most copied, the most imitated, but never duplicated. You know, the most injustice, the most with the least liberty, the most with all of these national stories that always make national news and nothing ever happens. It just gives a society of people who have came on a boat here, the Slavs, the immigrants, the Europeans, came over here using the church to just oppress us. And I mean, this has been their whole mission. When you ask someone, hey, what is your mission statement? Or what is your purpose? Or what do you stand for? Their whole mission statement is going to be, oh, we stand to oppress those people. That's our whole mission, our whole goal, our whole theme in life. Our thesis is to harass, oppress, commit genocide, homicide, anything that we could do to harass and keep these certain group of people down. And now I feel like they realize, damn, it's not really working, because you get people who come out like me, who like grew up in the hood. I came from hood to hooded. That's my motto. I came from those generational curses that you try to put on my people. I came from growing up with barely nothing. I did not have my mom, right? My mom died when I was 7.5 years old in a car accident. Worst day ever. My dad was a victim of police brutality. You know, in the dirty South, Tallahassee, Florida, he was always in it with the cops. Always. Because, you know, he's darker than me. He's chocolate. He was always in it with the cops. So I came from that. I came from the hood. So for people to bully me, oh, you're black, you're this, you're that, when you're a little kid, you don't understand why are these little YT kids acting like this. You read it in the history books at school, oh, this is what they do. This is just how they are. So you learn how to deal with it. Until you get to a point where you're like, you know what, I can do what the I want, and then you push yourself to the limit. You push past the stereotypes people put on your life. You push past every generational curse in your life. Whether that's financial, whether that's mental, whether that's spiritual, physical, you push past all of it. You break every goal, and then they look at you like, what? And they look at me like, what? I never saw a black doctor. I hear this all the time. Never saw a black dentist, never saw a black doctor. Because we're the 1%. But we're the 1% to break through and show you that this is who we are. We're not who you think we are. We can show you who we are. We might have to go through 10 to 20 times more obstacles than our counterpart, but we still gonna get through it. Tell me how a kid like me, who did not have a setup to become in this position, who did not have a parents guiding me, who worked 2 to 3 jobs in college, get to this point despite the oppression. You know? So when I think about that, that's the reason why we have to continue to pursue greatness, continue to defy the odds, continue to protect yourself. Because if you don't protect yourself and something happened to you, oh, it's going to be always, oh, it should have happened to you. We don't really care because they're going to put a narrative on you that some kind of way you deserve it. You know, they're going to say some kind of way, oh, well, they're going to make something up. So my thing is, defend yourself. Put your kids in defense classes. Teach your kids what is the proper defense for certain situations. Should an adult be called over? Because a lot of kids feel like, you know, if I'm getting bullied, I don't want to tell the adult because these kids might let. I don't know, but it's a different day and age. Even in my hometown, it's always a shooting. It's always a lot of anger. It's always a lot of crime, especially towards ourselves. So we can always go to the racism that exists, the police brutality, you know, the oppression. But even in our own communities, we have been trained to hate ourselves. So not only do they hate your melanin, but sometimes if you're not brought up right and taught the right history, you can hate your melanin. You can hate the people in your hood. Y'all might be at war with each other. You at war with the wrong enemy, man. Too many YNs got the wrong target. You feel me? So that's my whole take on this. Learn how to defend yourself. There will be consequences if you put your hands on somebody. That's why I was always a person who said, keep your hands to yourself. You can say what you want, but you put your hands on me, it's going to get crucial up in this thing. You feel me? Crucial. And a lot of times these young melanated boys are in these environments where they are taunted by a YT kid and nothing happens to that kid. And they feel helpless, so that the system doesn't work for them. They don't have anybody to defend them, you know? So this whole 2 weeks, not only just that case, but the child case, that case just really heartbreaking. I can't imagine going to the store, even if he did take a bottle of water, it still was not worth his life. It still was not worth you actually firing your weapon. Like, come on. Like, you don't need to have a business if you don't know about, like, taking a loss and filing the taxes for someone stealing your merchandise. Come on now. If your go-to thing is to have a weapon and to take their life because they steal from your store, you don't need a store. You just don't need a store. You don't need a business. We have to stop patronizing these businesses. And I've been seeing a video going around of the Asian, like, well, you guys aren't gonna stop. You guys aren't, probably not, because you took all the stores. You took all the grocery stores. They took all the stores, destroyed everything that we had with places like Black Wall Street. Anytime you try to have your own, it's always destroyed. So this country has, it's like in the infancy of learning what's right and what's wrong. This country, you would think that we would be so much further than we are in this country, but the people who are in charge, they're no better than their ancestors. Christopher Columbus, George Washington, he had 300 enslaved people, but they say he's a founding father. They say he's so great. All of those first presidents, they say they're so great, but guess what? To be a president back then, you had to go to war and unalive us. That's how you got national recognition. When you went to war, you took some land, you seized some properties, then it's like, oh yeah, you could be the president back then. They would capture the POWs. It's just like George Washington, he had about 300. He's the first president, but he was also very heavily involved in war before he became the president. That's how he became the president. He started the War Department, which is now the Bureau of Indian Affairs. It houses the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and it also houses, land management. So when you go back to the history, even before then, you go back and you see slave raiding. This is just stealing people's shit. Going and just pulling up, raiding. The same thing they do now, they can raid your home, but back then it was no warrant needed. They could just raid anytime they want. So when you go back and you think about the history and you think about all the things we've been through, and this is where we are in this country, it's just sad. It's just sad. And my heart goes out to all of the families involved in these cases, all the people who are impacted by it. Just stay safe out there, guys. Just stay safe. I don't know. Because I feel like all we gonna do is get on the internet. And what's after that? What is after that? Do we really stop shopping at the stores and start our farm? Like, what happens after that? Because you gotta eat. What's grocery store you gonna go to? I don't see no melanated grocery stores around me. Or farms. There's none of them around me. Restaurants, barely any in where I am. When you need something quick, where you gonna go? Amazon, Walmart? Where we gonna go? So really, it has to be an economic shift. And of course, we can go to these apps and shop online and buy online from, but it can't be any excuses. But it has to be some type of economic shift. There has to be some type of economic shift. Is it going to happen overnight? Probably not. I don't know. I don't really know, guys. If you know what we should do as a collective, let me know in the comments. What do you feel we should do as a collective? What are we going to do when these situations continue to pop up? My thing is, number one, we have to realize that a lot of our soldiers are brainwashed. They're brainwashed by Christianity. We already know from the book, The Religious Instructions of the Negro, that Christianity is a major tool. We know that school is a major tool because they're teaching you to hate yourself in school. They're not teaching you to be successful or to be, financially literate. They teach you to be broke and generationally cursed. So we have to start with homeschooling, self-defense classes. I don't know, just a lot more unity. It's easier said than done, though. Because here we are, June the 10th, 2026, still talking about shit that's been going on for centuries. And the people who are the leaders of it are still like, They're like, we don't care, So that's my little 2 cents about what's been going on. And I guess my purpose is just to, put the energy out there that, I don't know, something has to change, and I don't know where. I don't even know where to start, guys. I don't know. Who's the leader? Where are the leaders? Where are the leaders? Where are the leaders? So yeah, this week has been pretty much, I would just say, overkill for me. dealing with my own transition in life, watching all of this sad news, and just trying to have a good summer. Yeah. So, trying to have a great summer is tough. Every year you think, oh, this is the year. But this whole year started out with just politics, and now, these court cases, just unbelievable. I don't know. So all I could do is send love to my Niji out there. This is definitely something to add to the tally of things that continue to happen to my people. It's definitely something to add to the tally. We have to start thinking of solutions. I don't think the solution is us always fighting with the internet. I really think the solution has to be on the ground, like really with our dollars. I don't know. Where are the geniuses? Where are our geniuses? Where y'all hiding at? Where y'all hiding at, man? Where are the geniuses? Where are the geniuses? And then the other day, after Child got free from the case with Carmelo Anthony, someone posted on the internet a whole line of black women going to the hair store that just opened, some Asian hair store that had just opened. It was like a whole line of people just ready to get the money away. Just waiting and ready and eager. It's like, they like, bump that, I gotta get my hair done. Like, bump justice, I gotta get my hair done. Bump spending my money with people who look like me and going through the extra effort. I gotta get my hair done. I'm gonna go wherever. And that's where the whole thing crumbles down, because we don't have anywhere to go. Like, it's different if we had the same amount of loans and we were never invaded. We still had our land. We still had our wealth. We still had our royalties. It would be different. But because we don't have that, it's like, where do we go from here? And that has been my question. And I'm not going to even hold y'all. Sometimes I feel like, what's next? Like, it's like if you live in America and you look like me, it's like, what is next? This can't be it forever. And then I get to the point where I'm like, wow, it's hopeless because we're outnumbered. I did the research where it was like 7, 8, 9, 10 nations invaded us, and they all combined under the label white. But white just means you're French, you're Italian, Great Britain. You're from all of these different places, but when you come over here, you team up against my people so you can look like the majority and be under this protected umbrella against us. But I'll tell y'all something. I probably can't figure it out in my head what's gonna happen, but it's supernatural. What's gonna happen is supernatural. It's something that is out of our hands. It's something that the ancestors have to come back and really show these people how magical we are, And that sounds like some type of fairy tale ending, but I believe it. Our ancestors are gonna have to come back and fight for us because we have given up the fight ourselves. Or they have so much military training and presence and officers and slave raiders and cars now, and they on every corner. It's kind of like we still POWs, and that's sad. We really POWs. You might not have shackles on your wrists, but when it comes to justice, there are shackles on the justice system when it comes to us. You might not have shackles on your ankles, but when it comes to, oppressing our opportunities for financial literacy, for wealth, for loans, for businesses in our own damn neighborhoods, there are shackles there. You probably can't see it, but there are shackles. When it comes to education, when you're being taught pseudo history and you let your kids get taught the pseudo history and it keeps going from generation to generation, those are invisible shackles. And that's why I went hood to hooded. We go from our hood to our future, but our future has to look different than what we're seeing right now. You know, as a collective, it has to be different. It has to get better. It has to change. So right now, I'm sending all the energy to the ancestors to come back and to help us fight, because on our own, we're losing. We're gonna lose on our own. We need spiritual warriors, because a lot of the physical warriors down here, they're distracted. They're distracted by the voting. They're distracted by the Democrat, Republican. They're distracted, you know, with gender. They distracted with poverty. There's so many distractions they put in our way to block us. Distracted with religion. So many distractions put in our way. And that's why I always tell people, like, I'm literally a miracle, because I had every distraction in my way. Greetings. What's up, Benji? How you feeling today? Every distraction in my way. But it wasn't enough for me to fail. But when we get to this point as a collective, where do we go from here, guys? That's all I'm trying to say. So, yeah. We need a spiritual fight. We need our ancestors to come back and help us fight demonic energy, because it's very demonic. I'm amazing, eating sunflower seeds and taking care of puppies. Just tuning in. Hope you're great. Well, thank you for tuning in. Sunflower seeds and taking care of puppies. That sounds like a good day to me. I'm just sitting here. I had a patient, but they were a no-show. So it made me go live, and now I'm talking to y'all. So it worked out. Yeah, it worked out. So I'm getting ready for my next patient. And yeah. Where are you from, Benji? Just want to. So yeah, guys, there's a lot going on in the world. A lot going on in the world, but I'm very optimistic that, you know, we might not be able to see the changes when it comes to evil being abolished, or, you know, demonic energy being abolished. But when you just stay positive, sometimes that's still not enough, I know. But if you just try your best to stay positive, you know, despite all the things going on in the news, and practice unity, even just the people in your community, just practice unity with them. That's a start, you know. Florida, hey, even in my home state, I bet it's hot as hell, because it's finally warmed up here in New York. It's like 89 yesterday, but for the whole month of May, it felt almost like a baby winter, like sweaters and coats. And I'm like, this can't, what happened? Right here? I'm like, this can't be May. But now it's starting to finally heat up, but not Florida heat, but heat. And sometimes I don't know if I can even live in Florida, because I'm probably not used to that heat anymore. But yeah, that Florida heat, perfect for the pool, the beach, all of that. When you try to go to the beach here in New York, or maybe like to a lake or something, the water's still pretty cold. It's probably like 30, 40 degrees cold still. But I definitely miss home. Definitely miss that Florida sunshine. And speaking of Florida, I kind of need to go back pretty soon, because I'm homesick, y'all. People are like, you always homesick, Dr. Sean. I am. I'm going to tell you why. Because of the food. Like I said, the food here where I am is kind of like, When I go home, I have a rainbow of options to eat. All types of food. Like here in New York, I can't find a piece of mullet fish. If you're from Florida, then you know what I'm talking about. In New York, you're not gonna find mullet fish. It's just not. Like if I found mullet, I would probably be skeptical to eat it because it's like mullet fish, just so much seafood, just so many excellent cooks back home. You know, I miss that. I miss that part. Yes, Florida has so many different foods. I love the diversity. Facts. When I go home, I already have my whole list of stuff that I gotta re-up on. Like, I'm gonna have to go here, 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 here. Like, if I lived in Florida, I would probably be at least 100 pounds heavier if I did not work out. I would literally, you know. Now, New York City got good food, but to me, it still don't touch that Florida food. Seafood, crab legs. Oh, I need a crab boil right now. Yeah. But yeah, guys, I hear my patients. So I'm going to get off of here, and I will holler at y'all later. Thank you for tapping in. Make sure you subscribe, tap those hearts, or give me a thumbs up. And if you press the thumbs up, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.